what are the benefits of stress?
Okay. So again, it's a continuum, right? So people talk about different zones we go through. So there's the comfort zone.
Phil for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where, it's your teddy bear. Maybe you're something that's easy, you feel relaxed. It can be just your bed, sleep. It can be some of your practice, the calmness you feel after the practice. That could be something you like. So something that nourishes you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you feel good there. You can't stay there forever, right?
Mm-mm.
Then human mind will get bored. Then you would step out and do something that you enjoy doing. And you do it often enough, you become good at it. And then you extend your circle, try something more. And that's, in our regular life, that's the work you do. And you progress in your work. I mean, in corporate world, they'll say climbing the ladder, but even if you are a scientist, you're doing this experiment, then you go to the next one. So you have a path. It's you work hard, so there is some stress involved, but it's a good stress.
It's a good stress.
Yeah, it's called Eustress, EU.
Eustress.
Yeah, Eustress. And so that's good. And then but then every now and then you will find yourself in a place where it's too much. It's
Overwhelm.
Overwhelm. It's no longer good stress. And it happens when a lot of times it's not your own choosing. Sometimes you find yourself, you're pushed there somehow.
Yeah.
Because of some external situations.
You have to do something you don't want to do.
You don't want some, you were not ready for it, let's say.
Yeah.
You were not ready for it and you were pushed there. So that's when the bad stress happens, right? Starts happening. But as long as you stay in the good stress, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the line is not a fixed one. You can increase it. Your zone can get bigger by your experience. I have done this, and next let me try this.
Yeah.
So that's all good. You don't want to stay in your comfort zone all the time. So that's the benefit of stress.
Because you learn and grow outside your comfort
zone. Exactly. It's a learning.
And in that zone, outside of comfort zone, is this eustress.
Exactly.
This area where
before
you're challenged. Overwhelm. Yeah, you're challenged, but
in
your
a good
relationship to it is good. It's positive.
Positive, yeah. But then when you go to the overwhelm, is that your fourth question?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to talk about overwhelm? We can make it the fourth question.
No. What's your fourth?
I don't know. We're making them up as we go along.
Oh, okay.
I didn't write any down.
Okay. So I mean, so if you talk about again relating to MBSR, so then we talk about overwhelmed, because people come because they're overwhelmed. Life is too much, right? So okay, so you are in the overwhelm stage, and what are you feeling? Feeling bad. It's too much. So then there are two parts to it. One is because of the external situation, and the other is because of your resistance to it. So, your thought is saying, I shouldn't be here. I'm no good. I can't handle it. This is too much. So all this internal thought that's happening, that is your secondary source. And that manifests in the body exactly the same way your primary overwhelm, which is coming from an external source
Yeah.
is doing it.
So then you have the external source, and then you have your own almost mirror internal source that's now exponentially,
It's just
increasing
so you are caught in this loop.
of stress.
You feeling worse, and then all these negative thoughts come more and more,
Mm-hmm.
and then it also becomes a habit. So habit also has to do with it. So it becomes a habitual thinking pattern. So, but then if you do the practices, and during your practice, your meditation, whatever happens in your regular life will visit you during the meditation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like what happened to me at the retreats. And then if in your own controlled, positive environment that you have created to practice, your chances of being able to handle that with the tools you have is greater. But the other side of the coin is that if you can do it there, you can also do it in your real life, because now you know that these are the tools I have. So you take those tools there. So you find yourself in the overwhelm zone. You can step back and use your tools, even if for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Even if for 1 minute, you stop and breathe. So
Yeah.
that takes care of it.
I remember STOP.
Yeah.
The STOP
The stop
acronym.
sign, yeah.
Acronym.
Stop and rain. Rain
Yeah,
is the other one.
STOP. What is T? Remember there was.
Yeah. Stop is just stop. T is take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah. STO is observe.
Observe your surroundings. Yeah.
Observe
5 senses.
Yeah. Observe what's happening in your body.
Oh, inside of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, because we only analyze, and so we go from analyzing in the head to sensing it in the body.
So it's almost like our brain can manifest things.
Exactly.
Where they're not even there.
The minute you come to the body, you're back in the present moment.
Yeah.
And you bring in your kindness and you take care of it. Okay, let me stay here. Take a few more deep breaths.
Yeah.
That'll do. Or you see, is it helping? Oh, yeah, because when I was thinking, not knowing, my breath had stopped.
Shallow breathing or
Exactly.
or just holding your breath.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not giving your body what you need.
So you need to give your body the nourishment, the oxygen.
And that's observe.
Observe, and then P is the proceed.
Proceed.
Proceed in a way that'll help you.
A mindful way.
Mindful way that'll help you.
Yeah.
And what that is, your options will emerge for you. So there is no prescribed formula. A teacher will tell you, do this.
Mm-hmm.
You see what emerges for you, and options do emerge. Yeah. And so I love it in the middle of the class, kind of about midway, week 5 usually. For some people, it starts even early in week 4, but usually week 5. And people will say that, something happened last week that I hadn't expected. This happens, and, my, I don't know, my stepson or my stepdaughter does this, and then I do this, and then before we know, we have gotten into an argument, and then this, and, just the, whatever happens, your own family dynamics. But then yesterday, she did exactly what she does always. And I heard a voice in my mind, okay, she's just doing what she is, but I know better and I can do this. And then I was surprised. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Insight. So, insight. So how the insight is dependent on your context.
Yeah.
It's not a fixed thing.
No. And it takes that inner awareness, that kind of tuning into the body wisdom and having awareness that, you can make other choices.
Right. And then the scientists will tell you, they have seen that the prefrontal cortex of the brain is more developed, has more gray matter in the people who meditate. That is known. Scientists have found that. And the size of the amygdala, which is the reactive part of the brain,
Smaller. What is the value of the gray matter? What does gray matter mean?
So the prefrontal cortex is right behind our forehead,
Mm-hmm.
Which humans do.
That's executive functions and
executive functions. A lot of, I think Dan Siegel mentions several of them, 9 of them or something. But there is one. A lot of these develop in our childhood, from the parent-child interactions. Again, love and kindness play into it. If an adult has been kind and loving to you, your chances of being loving and kind is more.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why people who have had very difficult childhoods have more difficulty growing up. So because, you get stuck in your patterns. and a lot of those people come to MBSR, people who have had childhood trauma. I make sure that you have a professional to deal with that, because I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a teacher.
Right.
So have a therapist if you need, ready to help you. But there is one element, the intuitive wisdom, that comes only through meditation. This is what Dan Siegel mentioned in one of his talks I had attended. So a lot of research is going on. I don't know everything. I haven't read any new papers. I read a lot of papers when I was working on my certification qualification, but I'm not a scientist. I just teach. And so I'm not on top of that, but a lot more research is going on. Again, people do research on different aspects of mindfulness. Does it help this? If you are working on a particular, if you say you are a particular kind of doctor, and then your chances are you'll do studies in your area.
Right.
So then so there have been so many different studies, do headaches get better with mindfulness? Does
ADHD? I looked at ADHD.
Yeah, I think I saw one of your programs on that.
Yeah.
So, people have been doing research on different aspects. And at one point I had checked at UMass website, they were all over the place. So many different ailments. They had done research on different papers, had published on it. So in general, there is known to be improvement. But then again, as a lay person, commonsensical way of thinking for me is that the body has wisdom to heal itself, right? You have that paper cut,
your
scratch,
body.
It gets healed next day, right?
Right.
So we all know that from our own experience. Body heals itself. Body breathes itself. Do we ask it to breathe?
Yeah.
There's so much that happens by itself. But when we are worried and our negative thinking happens, we prevent the body from healing itself. We prevent the body from breathing. It's almost like we stand in its way.
Yeah, because when you have intense stress, your body starts to shut down certain functions in order to give attention to this stress.
Yeah. And that's the evolutionary reaction that comes from the external situations.
Yeah, if you need to run away from a lion, yeah, that's like the most important thing now. But we don't have lions chasing us.
We have paper tigers.
There was that, who was it that said, in my life, I've had many,
Mark Twain.
Yeah, Mark Twain said something. I'm paraphrasing. In my life, I've had many catastrophes, and some of them actually happened.
Yeah.
In our mind, we're fighting tigers, and we're, these catastrophes are always looming around the bend, and we're worried about, so many things that'll never occur.
Yeah. And so that letting be, that's how it works.
Letting
You
be.
let the body heal itself.
Yeah.
So you get out of its way.
Yeah.
So John Kabat-Zinn says, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
You are blocking your own door.
Yeah.
So that understanding comes through MBSR.
Yeah.
Because people say, you understand these two kinds of stress. Not just the good stress and the bad stress, but even in the bad stress, there are two kinds. The one that comes externally. So Buddha called it the two arrows.
Yeah.
The arrow that
Death by the
hunter
Tarot Brock does that whole
shot.
thing, death by the second arrow.
Yeah. So
Right.
the one that the second
The
one
Buddha
is
talks about it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Buddha talks in terms of arrows.
Yeah.
In those times, there were no guns.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a general, and he got shot by an arrow.
Yeah. So there was one that somebody else shoots you, and then there's the one that you shoot yourself.
Shoot yourself.
Right? And the scientists call it the primary stress and the secondary stress, but it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything about the external stress,
The primary stress,
but do something about don't shoot yourself.
Right.
So by not shooting yourself, you come back from the overwhelm. You step back. You come back to the eustress.
Yeah.
It's challenging, and that's how your confidence also grows.
Right.
So you can do it.
And then you're giving your body what it needs to meet this challenge.
Yeah.
Whether it's a paper cut or whatever it is.
That's why your kindness comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You be kind to yourself.
Self-compassion.
Yeah, self-compassion, loving kindness.
Yeah.
So all of that, whether you blame yourself or you blame someone else.
Yeah.
But if you take care of your anger, then none of that blaming will go away. It's coming from that some kind of delusion. And then there is the other element, and that's in the other tool called RAIN. And this is not part of the MBSR, but RAIN was, that tool was first talked about by Michelle McDonald, I think, a teacher who does retreats also. I've never been to her retreats, but attended some of her talks online. So anyway, RAIN has one extra element, and that relates to the non-self element of Buddhism. You know, and so it's a non-identification. So take the I out of the equation.
Yeah.
Take the, you can pause and breathe. That gives you something. But you can just, even if your thoughts are coming, first check how many of those have personal pronouns in them. And then can you just change your language?
Yeah. Reframing.
Reframing.
What does RAIN stand for? It's an acronym, right?
Yeah.
What is
So
R?
R is recognize.
Recognize. So that's an awareness.
Yeah.
A.
I is investigate.
I, investigate.
Yeah. And then N is called natural awareness that comes from not identifying. So say, and you can see how this is an element of the language.
Yeah, instead of saying I am angry, you say I'm feeling anger.
Or even take the I out. Anger is here.
Anger is present.
Anger is present.
Yeah.
When think about the time when we were children, before we had the I sense developed, there was still anger at times, right? Don't the babies, push the plate away when they're done, when they're full? So it is there. I don't have to go and grab it, even in the language.
Yeah.
But we have been taught, active voice is the right thing to do. Passive voice is weak, right?
Yeah.
So that is, again, part of our culture, part of our training. But if we can be wise and see that, oh, this isn't helping me, I is getting unnecessarily entangled where it need not be.
Yeah.
Right? Anger is here, whether it's my anger or not. Before
present.
the I went and grabbed it, and that helps with this grasping, clinging.
Yeah.
If you take the I out, if there is no I, who is going to cling?
Yeah.
Right?
It allows for an easier dissipation of whatever emotion's present.
Yeah. So there
If
is
there's not identification, subjectivity.
right. So I ask people, so just change your language and see what happens. You don't have to buy into this concept of selflessness. Of course, there is a self. Of course, there is a stomach that needs food.
Yes.
And this is the way to do it.
Right.
And this hand is going to go do it. I mean, nowadays, this hand isn't. I learned to be left-handed after the fracture. So anyway, so that helps.